Good morning, beloveds. Um, it's raining. It was raining at 6:30 when my alarm went off, which I'm ignoring my alarm until 7 right now, so I'm definitely not getting enough sleep. So I got up and wandered out, and I was like, my husband was sitting in the dark, and I was like, "What?" And then I heard it, and I was like, "Oh, that's why you didn't wake me up. It's raining." So there was no going to exercise this morning, but it was a good thing, and I'll tell you the reason why. Um, I am taking the Essential Ernest Holmes through CSL with Jesse. He's the teacher. And I just wanted to experience what a CSL class was like, uh, and why, what better time to do it than with, a teacher that I'm familiar with. Um, and I realized that when I went to bed last night, I hadn't done my homework. So I got up this morning, and instead of putting on workout clothes and going for a walk because it was raining, I put on comfortable clothes, sat on my couch, and did my homework. um, so I have had, I got an hour of Ernest Holmes this morning, and now you're gonna get a little more Ernest Holmes now. So the title, or it is March 8th. The title is "I Speak the Truth of God." And our quote it's from Proverbs. And it's one of those sheweth. They that speaketh truth show forth righteousness. The lip of truth shall be established forever. And that is Proverbs 12:17-19. All right. We all wish to speak the truth. But have we realized that every time we make a claim about ourselves that is different from the claim we would make about God, we are falling into the error of denying the divine presence in our experience? God is truth, and truth is God. We also are included in this divine and perfect unity. Therefore, every claim we make about God, the living Spirit, should be equally made about ourselves, because we live and move and have our being in this infinite truth or presence. To say that we are poor or sick or weak or unhappy is to deny God. God is not poor, God is not sick, God is not weak, God is not unhappy. We must then make every endeavor in simplicity and in truth to identify our personal lives with that one life which forevermore proclaims, "I am that I am," or "I am that and that." Okay, let me try that again. "I am that I am," or "I am and that and this and everything else I also am." There is nothing separate from the one I am. Today I say to myself, I am one with the truth of God. I speak this truth and proclaim it to be the reality of my experience in what I call little and in what I call big. In the simplest and most complex things, I recognize the one truth, changeless, permanent, and eternally manifesting itself. Therefore, I know the truth about myself. I know the truth about everything I do. I know the truth about everyone I meet. I know the truth about every situation I find myself in. This truth is not only perfection, it is also power. It is not only presence, it is also action. Therefore, the truth and the power and the presence and the action of the living Spirit flow through everything I do, say, and think. I do know the truth, and the truth I know frees me and keeps me free. All right, let's be honest. I feel a little called out today. I do. Um, Many years ago, I was playing a video game and I heard the way I was talking to myself. And I went, "This is not okay." And so that sent me into therapy. And for the most part, I have healed most of that nonsense. It literally was a chemical imbalance in my brain. I did a few years of therapy, realized that it was like I was developing better coping mechanisms, but it wasn't getting better. Had a conversation with a medical doctor, spent 2 years on an antidepressant, and now I manage um, that with and it's all of it. It's diet, it's lifestyle, um, it is exercise, it is nutrition, specific nutrition. I said diet, so like there are foods that I know that I have to limit my intake of, and foods that I need to eat a little bit more of. And then I also use some herbal supplements and vitamins, to manage that chemical imbalance. Um, because my chemical imbalance was mild enough that it can be managed that way. Other people's, not so much, and they need to get on and stay on the medications. But what it was I heard, but each time it's like, that's one of the things when I go and I look at myself in the mirror and I speak ugly to myself in the mirror, you know, that's what I mean by I feel called out today. When I say things to the mirror that are factual but not true. All right? Because medical 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 lists, what have you, when they look at me and they look at my numbers, they claim I'm obese. Like almost to the point of morbidly obese, although I haven't heard that recently, because that's what their charts say. And yet, for the most part, I'm very physically active. I can do most of the things that I want to do. I admit it does take me a minute to get going in the morning because I do wake up stiff. But once I get up and stretch, and that's part of the reason why I get up and go for a walk in the morning, because it stretches everything out and works all that stiffness out. But so that may be factual about me, but it's not the truth of me. The truth of me is that I am a brilliant, loving spirit in living in creative expression with God. That is the truth of me. The facts of my experience, you can break them down to height, weight, cholesterol levels, blood pressure levels, and all of that. But those are just facts. That's not the truth of me. And so when I find myself looking in the mirror and, as I said, talking ugly to myself, then I'm not speaking the truth about myself. And to a degree, I'm maligning God. I'm maligning that which created this. Or at least what runs around in this. So so this one is one of those. And so it's like, if you go and look at yourself in the mirror and you find yourself saying ugly things to yourself, then I want you to think about the fact that you're not speaking the truth about yourself. Go and that's where I say go back to God's idea of who you are. Because the facts that you are speaking into the mirror, and half the time they're not even true. They are disproportionate, or what do they call it? Dysmorphia. You know, an over exaggeration, because society, culture, and religion have taught us one thing, and it's blown things out of proportion. So when you find, then go back and examine. It's like, all right, let me go back to God's idea of me and speak kindly and gently to myself and speak the truth about myself in the mirror. And then, the facts in the mirror may change or they may not, but you'll know the truth of who you are. And that's the first step to healing. Because frequently, to heal the body, we have to work on the mind and the spirit first. Because when the mind and the spirit are in alignment with the truth of God, the body will follow. The body will follow. And let me remind you that the shedding of the body is a healing as well. Sometimes our time here is done. Our time here is done. And when that time is done, then the greatest healing that happens is we shed the material vehicle that has walked us around here, and we move on into a new experience. So when I say healing of the body, sometimes it's one thing and sometimes it's another. And both of them are okay. Both of them are okay. All right. So I speak the truth of God. Again, Proverbs 12, line 17 and 19. They that speak the truth show forth righteousness, and the lip of truth shall be established forever. All right. We all wish to speak the truth, but have we realized that every time we make a claim ourselves that is different from the claim we would make about God, we are falling into the error of denying the divine presence in our experience? And that's what I'm talking about. You know, when you look in the mirror and you don't like what you see, and when you look in the mirror and you don't like what you see, you have two options. One, speak well of God. And two, make the changes necessary to like what you see in the mirror. But the first start is to speak well of God, to speak the truth of yourself. You know, not the facts that are staring you in the face, but speak well of God. Speak well of the spirit that animates the body that you are speaking facts about. Because, you know, you are a brilliant, creative, loving, kind, compassionate, beautiful spirit in that body that you may be looking in the mirror maligning. That is what God created, the spirit within the body. The body that you wear was initially created by God as a vessel for the spirit. And then the choices that we have made are what shape that body. All right. So we have to own that. But we can start by speaking well of the spirit that animates the body. And that'll go a long way to lighten that body up. All right. God is truth, and truth is God. We are also included in this divine and perfect unity. And that's why I said, speak well of the spirit that animates it. We don't own that. We don't own that. It was granted to us by a power that is infinite. And it is always ours. Therefore, every claim we make about God, the living spirit, should be equally made about ourselves, because we live and move and have our being in this infinite truth or presence. All right, that's what I'm talking about. If you cannot say about yourself what you would say about God, take a deep breath and reevaluate your relationship with the divine. To say that we are poor or sick or weak or unhappy is to deny God. God is not poor. God is not sick. God is not weak. God is not unhappy. Now, we are in relationship with the material world. So we may be having these experiences, but it is not who we are. And that's one thing that I want to make clear right there. We can have experiences, but they are not who we are. All right. And a lot of sickness, illness, dis-ease, or he says poverty. And when I say sickness, I'm including all the mental stuff too, which includes the unhappy. None of that is true of God. None of that is true of the core of you. But I do acknowledge that we are in relationship with the material world and we can have experiences. But the first step to healing those experiences is to acknowledge who we are. Beloved children of God, just in case you needed to be reminded, we are divine lights. We must then make every endeavor in simplicity, in truth, to identify our personal lives with the one life which forevermore proclaims, I am that I am. Or, and this is where the tongue twister happens, I am, and that and this and everything else I also am. There is nothing that is not God. We're all made from the same stuff. There is nothing separate from this one I am. Okay, so power statements. If one resonates with you, or if the whole thing resonates with you, go for it. Today, I say to myself, I am one with the truth of God. I speak this truth and proclaim it to be the reality of my experience in what I call little and what I call big. Now, if you remember, if you don't, go back to the Sunday service, because that's what Jesse was talking about. He was talking about there's no big or little in the divine mind. Because we have the illusion of separation, judge big and little. But the divine, which is not separate, cannot judge big and little. All right? In the simplest and most complex things, I recognize the one truth, changeless, permanent, and eternally manifesting itself. Therefore, I know the truth about myself. I know the truth about everything I do. I know the truth about everyone I meet. I know the truth about every situation I find myself in. All right, what is the truth? God is there. This truth is not only perfection, which means wholeness, by the way, it is also power. It is not only presence, it is also action. Therefore, the truth and the power and the presence and the action of the living spirit flow through everything I do, say, and think. I do know the truth, and the truth I know frees me and keeps me free. It also frees everyone else around me, all right? Because it allows everyone around me the freedom to be who they are, to know who they are, to be authentically who they are. Because what we do is we see each and every being as a beloved child of God. That's our mission. It's always our mission, to see each and every person as a beloved child of God, no matter the experience, the material experiences they may be having. All right. Okay. So the mission today, should we choose to accept it? Oof. All right. I'm gonna go with this one. That every claim we make about God, we also make about ourselves. So all of those qualities that we talk about God, we claim that God is loving. We claim that God is compassionate. We claim that God is creative. We claim that God is peace. We are making those claims about ourselves today, so that we can make those claims about ourselves every day. That's the goal. That is the goal. So that we can look in the mirror and speak the truth about ourselves. And when we can look in the mirror and speak the truth about ourselves, then we can look in each other's eyes and speak the truth about them. And we can separate that from the material experiences that we might be having. So that's the mission. That is the mission. And then, as always, I'm going to suggest to you the spiritual practice of doing something loving, kind, and compassionate for yourself. I know I say it every day, and the reason I do is because, one, it's a spiritual practice. Two, I'm inviting you to create a habit, which will create a first response, so that then no matter what happens, you always can have a loving, kind, compassionate response, and for everyone. Because if you can do it for yourself, you can do it for anybody. It's one of those things. It's easy to do for people that we love, and then sometimes it's not. That's why we practice on ourselves. So 3 deep breaths, take a nap, take a walk, skip your walk and read Ernest Holmes like I did this morning. Whatever it is that you consider loving, kind, and compassionate, but the goal is to do at least one thing every day until everything that you're doing all day is loving, kind, and compassionate. Okay. I also encourage you to do something to engage your mind and your body, to get some bright light. Like, it's raining this morning, so this is my bright light. And drink plenty of water. and open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you, you do live in heaven right here, right now. It is all around us. And sometimes what it takes to find that is to look for the good, to look for the little good, and watch it multiply. Yeah, and you just saw the brief tale of one of my little goods. Yeah, that's my foster. So, whatever else you do, know that you are loved. Know that you are a beloved child of God in whom God is well pleased, always and forever. That the soul that we have isn't ours. It's God's. But it has been granted to us for all of eternity. And so, whatever else we know about ourselves, the truth is that we live and move and have our being in God. Okay, so I'm going to encourage you to have a great day, an amazing day, a staying warm day, because the temperature definitely dipped here, a drinking hot chocolate day, wrapping yourselves in a warm fuzzy blanket day, an enchanting day, a magical day. I got one for you. A children's laughter day. There is nothing like the sound of a baby laughing. You need a pick-me-up, Google baby laughing and listen to babies laugh. That will pick you up, I promise you. Nothing like it. Or there is a little girl, a little, I think she's small, Ukrainian girl in a shelter singing, I believe it sounded like Let It Go, but it's in Ukrainian, so it's and just, I haven't seen the video, but I've heard the audio, and it's just amazing and gorgeous. So that kind of day. Have a good day. Or, if that is too much pressure, simply have a day, because you are enough, just as you are. All right, beloveds, I got distracted by the Ukrainian girl. I'm gonna find it and post it to the CLC Facebook page, because from what I understand, it is just heart moving, heart opening. So I will do that. All right, beloveds. Email info@creativelife.org if you want to know what we're up to. We always have book studies going on. We always have, there's a class starting, I think, this Thursday, The Power of Decision. If you're interested in that, it's taught by practitioner Shirley and Marissa. So that'll be an amazing class. And I think that's what I know. So Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I will be back with you at 9 a.m. Take care of yourself. Know that you are loved. If you need us, catch us on the social medias. We are Creative Life Spiritual Center. I am the running Rev Ryan. Take care of yourself. I will see you next time.